Hi, everybody. Shannon Johnson, metaphysical facilitator and medium. And today's session is what's astrology got to do with it? So, there's a lot of people that are really getting more involved in looking into various aspects of their current life, wanting to know about their life plan, soul contract, same thing. Hi, Svetlana. Um, and I thought this would be a good opportunity to give some ideas where to look besides needing to see a medium. And especially some of the people that are not aware of their spirituality, I guess, good way to put it, or even those that are within strong religious belief systems. Everybody still accepts astrology. And astrology has been around for thousands and thousands of years. Many of our previous civilizations used astrology to understand different aspects that were going on. They used it for interpretation. They used it to mark the significance of a person that, maybe come in power. Um, Things even like um, back in ancient Egypt, they used astrology, the birth chart, and it was often, the advisor that used it. Hi, Deborah, Teresa, Chris. Hi, guys. So it's something we really take for granted, and we don't look very far into it. Okay, a lot of people are just like, "Oh, I know my sun sign," and that's it. But your astrology chart, right? I had an evolutionary astrology reading a few months ago. Let me see if I can get my camera to stop. We're gonna go pink. Anyway, so I've studied astrology on and off over the years. I'm not an expert at it. I'm not an expert at interpreting charts either. But this was a really valuable tool for me. And when I finally had an astrology reading, it really helped to bring all the houses and trines and squares and all that stuff into sense for me. And don't mind me, I'm going to probably try to pop this camera a couple of times because I know I don't even have my crystal on there yet. Anyway, so your astrology chart, when I was having my session, we were close to the end, and suddenly I heard from Spirit, they said, "Didn't you realize your astrology chart is the blueprint of our life plan? It's the code, astrological code of your soul contract, your life plan, the attributes as a personality that you wanted to work with, the traits from prior lives that you're wanting to expand on or work with in a different way will be shown in your chart. Another significant piece of your chart that nobody ever talks about until I was watching on the Lighter Side Network, awesome network, sign up for it, I'm telling you guys. Laura Boone from her show is The Real Ethereal. Anyway, she does a lot of astrology information on there, talking about houses and ascendants and all of this stuff. that was really where I found out about looking at the north and south nodes. Okay, Teresa, be safe. Um, what about your north and south nodes? What's the deal? What are they? What significance are they? Well, what I found out, learning curves here. What I found out is that your south node is past life attributes that you are trying to work on. And your north node, the opposite of it, is the goal you're trying to achieve, where you're working towards. So, big clues right there that you can find out. There's great sites that do free astrology charts, like astro.com, Cafe Astrology, and all of this stuff. And you can do your chart in depth, and you can get, excuse me, Artie, you can get their free, information, all the details and things like that about what it says. But bear in mind when you're doing one of those, they're giving you the base generalization of what those signs are representing and their locations in your chart and how it may impact you. I highly recommend to do astrology readings with someone that uses their intuitive abilities in interpreting your chart, because they're going to look at it totally different than the standards. Okay. So a couple things I have some charts here. These are my families, because who else am I going to use? I don't want to get permissions. So, but for instance, let me make sure. Oh, I'm hoping this is going to work. Okay, so why look at your astrology chart? It's going to give you a lot of clues on areas that you really wanted to work on. Now, this even includes, because I was really surprised when I had a reading done, an astro reading done, because she even picked up that there was abuse in my young life. It was part of what I signed up for. Everybody's astrology chart in depth is unique to you. And it will provide the digital code to your life plan. So, for instance, to give you an idea, I'll use my own. So, I don't care. And hopefully this will show up. I'm trying to do it to not get the glare. All right. There's a whole lot more than just a sun sign showing in that bad boy, huh? I got triangles, I got squares, I got stuffs going on in there, right? And, I really didn't understand a whole lot when I originally did these way many, many years ago. But the more I've been learning about it, so let's talk a little bit about your primary personality traits. Everybody understands the sun, right? We all know our sun signs. I'm a Scorpio. And I'm a wicked Scorpio, granted. But I have this thing in my life, and I've never noticed it until I started looking at my chart more in depth. Because I'm always looking at multiple perspectives of things, needing to see all the different views of it. I'm always weighing it out, right? Scorpio, it's a Libra trait. Wait a minute. And you kind of go, well, where would that come from? Why is that so present? Well, once I looked in more depth, that's how I was able to find, your primary personality has 3 strong legs to it, okay? So if you're really wanting to know yourself a little bit more in depth, you want to look at all 3 legs. So you have ascendant first. This is how we interact with the outer world. Your sun, the internal, external, it's a core part of you. And your moon, this is the mother, the relationships, the home, the personal, the quiet. Now, for me, I may be a Scorpio sun, but my ascendant and my moon sign are in the same alignment, and they're both Libra. Ding. For me, that was finally a ding. Oh my goodness. Okay. I can understand now why my personality tends to first begin from in the aspect of Libra, of balancing scales, looking from all perspectives. I'm very much about justice, being correct. Not being correct in that way, but let me put it this way, justice being a balanced view, scales everywhere, right? And this knowledge helped me to understand how my personality works. Then I was able to start digging in deeper. Mercury. Where was my Mercury aligned with? Mercury is your planet of communication, right? So where was my communication sitting at? What astrological aspect, energy am I using in my communications? And for me, it's Scorpio, which is very dominating. You know, we're very direct and moody and all of these things. So the other part of that I wanted to mention, when you're looking at your ascendant, you also want to look at your midhaven, because the midhaven is the opposite that it was at, okay? So, for instance, if I can get this to come up again, and this is going to be really kind of hard to see, so I'm going to try to get close to the camera. All right, so looking at all these squiggles, right? Over here, you see the upside down little horseshoe, right? That's North Node, South Node. South Node is over here, I'm sorry. South Node is upside down horseshoe. North Node is this way. So your ascendant is also over here, aligned with the birth alignment. And your midhaven is going to be where it aligns in the opposite. So for me, something for me to be aware of is that my midhaven is a Leo, opposed, and Libra on the other side. So it's very raw. This is very much going balance, balance, balance. But why else would you be interested in astrology charts? I was going to give you the clues. Like I said, when we do our life plan, and this is information from the Cool Council that I channel, your birth alignment is the life plan and the birth alignment go in sync. This is the timing, the clue place, the what are you doing here clues. So that's why your birth is not an accident, even for premature babies. Guess what? There was something going on in your life plan that the original forecasted birth that we did here in 3D is not in alignment with the life plan. So that child is going to prompt, that soul is going to prompt the birth timing to be in alignment with the star energies it's wanting to use. And we all know when we come into body and we're born, and a few years later, we have complete amnesia of what the fuck we're doing here, right? It's part of being human. It's so that you will immerse yourself in the experience. You will immerse yourself in the personality. But we often see it as, well, that kind of abandons us. What? Right? You feel lost. You feel abandoned. What am I doing here? What was my goals? How do I remember that? Honey, this is how you remember. This is our cheat sheet that spirit uses so that once we're in body, we can actually find ways to fulfill the life contract that we wanted to do. I'll show you another one. Now, I'll show you these two. Now, so a lot of us have children. I'm a grandmother. And when we're raising our kids, we're clueless, right? We're like, oh my God. And why do your kids like not get along in certain areas? Or why are their personalities just like clashing so much? You can look at their astrology chart, do an in-depth view of it, and it will give you the basis to work with. If your children are really young, you can use this as a tool to assist them in how they learn, what kind of attributes are natural to them. The astrology chart also gives clues on directions to help them find their career path or areas of career path that will be conducive to them, things that they actually like and enjoy because it's part of their natural alignment. So, for instance, most of you know that I have two daughters. They are almost 5 years apart in age, and granted, we had to deal with the whole difference in age groups that would often put them at odds with one another, and yet they love each other very much, but they're very different, and yet there is so much alike. Oh my God. Why? So I did their charts. I haven't had a professional interpret them for me yet, but by me doing their charts alone and looking at some of the aspects that their personalities wanted to work with really helped me to begin to, instead of needing to be the mediator all the time, it gave me an understanding so that way I could help my kids have a better understanding of each other. It worked a little bit. I was a little late in the game. So for those of you with younger children or with children who are having children, this is an awesome tool for you to use to help understand the kids better and help them with the attributes that they wanted to work with. Okay, even a challenging child is going to show up in the chart. So, for instance, I'm going to show you. So, my oldest, all right. Oh, come on, camera. Give me a break. All right. All kinds of stuff's going on there. Now, she is a Pisces sun, right? This is the youngest. I'm covering up their names. Woohoo! Crazy, right? All over the place. Wild. So she's a Sagittarius sun. Why did they have such a struggle growing up and be so oppositional to one another? Pisces and Sagittarius, yeah, they're two different elements. But that wasn't really the core of how it was clashing. Those two pieces were actually pretty cool with each other. That was the easy slide. But my daughters both have the same ascendant in the same midhaven. Believe it or not, even being born that many years apart and in different areas of California, they have the same ascendant, the same midhaven, right? So their ascendant, both of them are Leos. And their midhaven is Taurus, both of them. So you've got the lions and the bulls, that outer personality trait, full blown. And people, yeah, people love them. They're magnets. They're got awesome outgoing personalities in the outer world. But their moon signs don't get along. Their moon signs, which is the home, personal, the mother sign, right? So I have a Sagittarius that's got a Virgo moon with a Leo ascendant, and I've got a Pisces sun with an Aries moon and a Leo ascendant. It's like symbols hitting each other, right? I was just like, oh my God, it makes sense. Now I can understand why when one is saying this about how relationships and home life and their personal side should be this way, and the other one's going, no, it should be like this, and the two of them clash because I've got Aries and Virgo going head to head. And the Pisces and the Sagittarius side are back there kind of going, how's this all fit together, right? It also helped me to understand what their life goals are, what their south node placement is that they're trying to work through to achieve the north node goal. And as a mom, it's not my job to do it for them or to give them the, 1, 2, 3 checklist. For me, it was about understanding my children and having a better understanding of where their life plan is really kind of moving towards. And with that understanding, it allows me to step back and one, not be so nervous about, oh my God, are my kids going to be successful? Are they going to do this? Are they going to do that? Or if you have a child that is just horrible with relationships, what's going on there? If you have someone in your life that you're just kind of like, every time I think I start to get it together and understand where they're coming from, there's a wrench thrown into the mix and I really don't get it anymore. I don't know who they are. Doing the astrology chart in depth can bring that understanding. It's not for you to start judging and pointing fingers at it or anything like that. This is a tool to use to understand another person in your life or to understand yourself. For me, it really helped me understand some of my areas and traumas of the past and this life as to why did I move in those directions? Why did I feel those choices at the time seemed like the right direction to be in? And it had to do with how my chart was laid out. Now, another aspect about why would you want to do, what's astrology got to do with jack shit? Okay. Your life plan and your astrology chart is not only about you and your life plan, but also how you interact with the community, small community up to global community. Because bear in mind, all of the planets have a different influence, right? So I'm sorry about my feed today. It's just all fucked up and it's going to have to stay that way. So I think I'm just going to keep talking. Anyway, so what was I saying? Okay, so how does this help you on a regular day-to-day basis or on a monthly basis, annual basis, whatever? Once you can understand your own chart and how the different planetary alignments were when you were born, this will help you with how the current planet alignments are impacting your energy, you as a person. So remember, everything is energy. Energy is influenced by energy. We as human beings, our physical body is built for the Earth atmosphere and the interaction of the planetary energies alignments. Okay? That energy affects us, right? We know. People say, oh, it's the full moon. Everybody gets crazy. Oh, it's Mercury retrograde. Holy shit, you better hang on. It's going to be horrible, right? But if your personal alignment when you were born says, well, you were born during a Mercury retrograde. I was. I didn't know that until I dug into my chart. I was born during a Mercury retrograde. What does that mean for me, right? For most people, Mercury retrograde is hell. It's horrible. You're going through crazy shit. You say, don't make decisions, don't do this, don't do that. But because I was born during a Mercury retrograde, that energy impacts me differently. It is actually a time for me that I'm inspired to make changes, to make big decisions, to be more communicative in ways. I'm more connected during a Mercury retrograde than when it's not, right? But I didn't know that until I really looked at the depth of it. So you've also got the factors of the closer planets from Jupiter down have will interact with your personal chart more in a personal level. Planets from Jupiter out impact us more in a community and global level. And I'm talking about in the, not on the birth chart side, but more in the regular as time is going on. We're seeing the different alignments change and what's happening. So you're wanting to look at those. When you're looking at them, even the further out ones, if you're wanting to see how you interact with your community in those levels, you would look at your chart alignment in those planetary points. For me, one of the aspects of my chart that I didn't realize is that Saturn is a core planet for me. A lot of my chart intersects through Saturn. So I pay closer attention to how Saturn is moving and influencing the current energies. And it gives me clues as to, oh, No wonder I've been like a little bit dragging, because I'm getting this, my energy, personal energy is interacting with Saturn's energy in this alignment, right? So like for me, my Saturn works with Aries energy. So I watch how Saturn's alignment is. For me, I'm looking at it, my personal is in Aries, but where is Saturn within the other 12 elements, the other 12 signs? And what influences that interacting with the Aries that I chose? Make sense? I'm hoping this is making some sort of sense. Anyways, so when we're looking at, for instance, right now we have Uranus is impacting us big time, and Uranus is impacting on global and community levels right now. My Uranus alignment is with Aquarius, so I'm very free spirited in how I see community on global levels. I see it very community, very interconnected. That's how my energy works with it. But Uranus right now, as far as planetary, it's bringing up all the trash, bringing it out. And this is a cycle until 2026. The last time Uranus was in this position, guess what? That's how Hitler came into power. That's the kind of influence Uranus has on humanity. The energy is intense. The energy can take us to levels that we never thought we would ever go to. So, something to be aware of. And it changes position in October, I believe. I think that's what Laura said. So, when you're doing your own chart, these are key areas you can look at and see, well, how was my birth alignment in that planetary aspect, and how does my personal energy receive its influence for that area, kind of thing. Let me see, what else can I tell you? Oh, let's see, okay. Another part that you can look into is the houses. So you have 12 signs, right? 12 zodiac signs currently. And I know they've talked about adding the 13th one and all that good shit, but for today's session, I'm not going there. Anyway, so you've got your 12 signs. You've also got 12 houses. Each house has its own direct sign, but when you're looking at your chart, you want to see what planet was in what house, right? Because every house has an area of interaction. Might be career, might be relationships, blah, 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 blah. So you want to see what planet you have in that house, because that's the energetic influence you, your sun, moon, and ascendant are working with in that area. So one of the other things you want to look at is your elements. Now you all know, anybody that follows me knows that I did a whole series on the elements: fire, earth, air, water. Now, when you're looking at your elements, okay, the elements are also every star alignment has an element. Okay, he's associated to an element. So whether it's for fire sign, a water sign, an earth sign, air sign, right? Then you get into the cardinal, fixed, or immutable. Right? Cardinals are the dominant of that element. I'm already over here getting into my stuff. Okay. So what does that have to do with anything? Well, you want to look at your elements and whether they're cardinal, fixed, whether your signs are cardinal, fixed, or mutable, or which ones are which, because this is also going to tune you into what energies, elemental energies, are more dominant, and where do you need to bring more, what do you need to balance with and bring more in with, right? I have a lot of water and air in my chart. So for me, it's important to bring in fire and earth elements in other formats for me to work with. Same thing with the fixed, cardinal, immutable. By being aware of which ones are in which placement and understanding those three attributes, you can work through personal challenges, understanding more how your personality, how you, all of you, designed your personality to work with those energies, and stop beating yourself up thinking you're wrong or a failure or you suck or whatever because somebody else told you that, oh, well, you're too stubborn or you're too bitchy or you're too moody or you're too this. Okay? Understand your chart. You don't need to sign on back and go, well, that's because, I've got this, and this in my chart and I'm working with that. They don't give a shit. It's about you understanding you so you can better fulfill the soul contract, the life plan that you spent so much time, effort, and work creating so that you would be here right now and be the person that you wanted to be with full acceptance of every facet of you. Make sense? It's kind of why I wanted to do this little ditty today, because I think astrology is very underrated in today's world. And yet it can blow your mind when you really start looking at how you designed you. Right? The whole point is to be able to live more fully, more authentically, more accepting, because the more that you have that about yourself, other people will begin to respond to you with that same type of energy because it's emitting out from you. Energy responds to the energy it's interacting with. If you feel fucked up and shitty about yourself, you're going to get a lot of that in response from others. When you understand you and accept the you created, the you created, the energy changes, and that's what emits out from you, and the universe responds. I have Mr. I'm so interested in your papers over here with a nail. Artie. All right, so let me tell you something else. Excuse me, can I have this, please? Dude. Okay. All right. What else can you do with astrology? Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so for For instance, let me show you these two. You can also look at your partnerships. And you can do this with anybody. If you're wanting to look at how your alignments interact with your child, your best friend, your cat, okay, I mean, you can. I would say if you were going to do the chart of your dog or cat or bird or iguana or whatever, you would actually do it the same way that you do a person. Okay. But I want to move into looking at when you do it for a couple. And what can it tell you? So I'll show you this one again. Only because it's going to make the third picture make sense. Okay, so again, that's me, right? Ooh, come on, baby. Computer work. All right. So that's me. See all that fun stuff. Then, for example, let me just cover this up here. And my fingers. Okay. So that's my partner. This is my life mate partner. Yes. Okay. And you can see his chart is way different than mine. Now, this is when you're doing a relationship chart. Okay. And I did ours because I really wanted to see how we as a couple intersect and interact, not just with each other, but as a couple, how are we also interacting with the outside world? What together is cohesive, as well as you can also see north and south nodes and ascendants and all that good stuff. So, for instance, kind of don't mind my fingers, but I have to kind of cover personal info since this is a video. Okay, let's see. Come on. There we go. That's two people together. Right? This segment breaks it down into a chart. Okay. You can see I'm all here. His are going across here. And then this is where our chart alignments actually are. And how the different influences are back and forth. Why would you want to do one like this? It's not to pick your partner apart. And it's certainly not for you to sit there and tear your relationship to pieces. These are tools to help you understand each other. If your partner is open to it, it's a great tool to sit down and have a conversation. Because, for instance, I'll tell you a little story, and my husband is in the other room, and he's probably going to be like, "Did you have to talk to me about that?" Okay, for instance, okay, so I already told you, I'm Scorpio with the double Libra, right? Well, my husband, the three legs of his are Cancer, Sun, is a Virgo moon, and a Scorpio ascendant, right? So his Scorpio ascendant and my Scorpio sun are just like two little peas in a pod. But I have the Libra moon where I am always balancing. And he has the Virgo moon. Now, Why was that significant? For me, it ended up helping me to better understand him in how he works in relationships mode and in the personal home segment as the Virgo, not the Cancer that our two sun, Cancer and Scorpio, they're happy little water buddies, get along great. And my Scorpio sun with his Scorpio ascendant are all happy little bees, right? So what's with the Virgo and Libra moons, right? This is an area of challenge, not really an area of challenge. It's an area that we both needed to understand one another in how we work from a personal home, the mother aspect, right? So, for instance, we were both very recently divorces. Our divorces are 10 days apart when we met a couple months after the divorces. And, a lot of women are like, oh, hey, things are progressing, feeling really good. I know for me, I was like, oh, yeah, I wanted to verbalize and communicate that. There's that Scorpio and the Mercury, want to get that passion and intense conversation going. But for him, it was needing to be in a different level. Well, let's see, his Mercury is in his Mercury is in Leo. Okay. So what does this have to do with anything? Well, here's the deal. So, us women, we like romance and all these things. I needed to understand that Virgo aspect so I could be more accepting of how he works in that mode. Right? Because my Libra side and moon, my Libra moon was like balancing the scales, right? Things need to be balanced. And he's over there in my own time, very in their head, right? Virgo, 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 Virgo. And it's funny because I told Laura Boone this story on one of the Virgo segments on the Lighter Side Network because I thought it was just hilarious. So 3 years later in the relationship, I got my 3 words. Yeah. A lot of patience for me as a Scorpio to hold the space. Luckily, my Libra aspects were able to just sit there, kind of hold back and wait and allow the time that he needed, and understanding that Virgo aspect allowed me to get that time, right? Then, when you're all like, oh, is he gonna propose? I wonder what the proposal would be. Scorpio me is like thinking all these deeply romantic, la 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 la. That's not what I got. It was very romantic, but it was a very romantic Virgo way, right? So it could have caused a big rift if I didn't take the time to understand those other aspects of his personality. Because if I didn't, I could have been sitting there going, I'm very Scorpio Libra. It was like, huh? Right? I got a PowerPoint after a movie was put on. It was beautiful. It was so sweet. A lot of women that if they didn't understand that about him and was expecting something much more Cancer aligned would have been very disappointed. Or it could have caused a fight, these kinds of things, because these other parts of my personality are wanting this, and his personality is over here going, I do it this way. See what I mean? my understanding that Virgo trait, I was able to be very blissful in the moment because I knew and understood that that's how that aspect works within that personality. Make sense? So we're almost to an hour. I want to open it up. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and comment or question as to what astrology has got to do with it. So I would say definitely, I know of 2 astrologers that are phenomenal. They use their mediumship, intuitive abilities in interpreting their charts. One of them, her name is Ashley Adams. The other is Laura Boone. There are lots of them out there, and no different than you would pick a medium or pick a doctor or any of those, a mentor or teacher or whatever. Do the same. You're going to use the same type of tool in choosing an astrologist to work with that resonates with you, that you feel comfortable talking to, you feel comfortable in their ability to bring more depth of understanding of your full chart, why you're here. Good? Cool. So we're going to scroll down. I know we've got some. Yes, you're very correct, Chris. I'm just getting through the comments for those that are watching. So Chris says, also take time to review your chart from time to time. Our perspective of it will change as we grow. Very, very true. You end up understanding things that you didn't realize were there before. Deborah asked, I am a Virgo sun, Libra moon, Gemini rising. Are one of those my south node? No. Not that your south node couldn't be one of those, but without doing your full chart, I wouldn't be able to just recognize it. But I will tell you, going back to these, let's see. Okay, so you would do your full chart. Most of them will show the north node down here in the, God, my computer, quit the glare. Down here in the listing, it'll give you the north node placement, right? So like in this chart, the north node placement is in Libra. See that little symbol right there? Okay. And then the south node is going to be in the opposing side. And you're going to see it's got the it's got the same symbol. It's a little U with 2 little circles on the ends. And when it's the north node is this loop with the 2 little circles on the bottom. So find your north. North will show on the chart when you do them online. That one's pretty easy. Okay. For instance, with this one, you can see it right here, and it's in the drop-down listing, North Node. So for instance, my youngest daughter, her North Node is down here in Capricorn. Okay, and you can see here, right in this detailed box, that the North Node is nowhere near any of those other signs. Okay. So once your chart will show you North Node, it will show the South Node. But when you do the printout, South Node will be represented across from North Node, and it's got the horseshoe upside down. So once you do it, and you know which one is which, then remember, South Node is how you came in. Past life information is in South Node of past life areas that you came in with to work through to achieve North Node position. You want to end up living in your North Node. If you have achieved the goals you set out in your life plan, you will be living in the North Node alignment. Means you worked through your South Node attributes, and you're now working into the North Node. Yeah, Deb, it looked like Greek to me too when I first started looking at it. I mean, I was kind of like, geez. Let me see if I can look. So I have okay, the one I was showing you, the younger daughter, her North Node is in Libra. That's where she's working to. And the other one I have is working to Capricorn. Where's all these? North Node, Gemini. Wow. Mine, my North Node is in Aries. Okay, what was I going to say? I just lost my train of thought. Anyway, okay, so for instance, when I had the evolutionary astrological reading done with Ashley Adams, for instance, my South Node, when she looked at my South Node placement, when I came into this life, my lesson with my South Node was about past lives in which I was very submissive. My voice was not, I as a person was not acknowledged very often. Everything was done for the tribe, for the collective, and very much no matter what I was doing and working on, okay, and it's funny because this past life actually is connected to my husband, my current husband. It's one that we had together. He was the tribe leader. I was the daughter of another tribe leader, and I was sold to him to be his first wife and oversee the tribe. In that life, I was completely submissive to my husband, who was also my owner, because this is tribal. I was a slave as a female, being sold by my family to bring two tribes together. So, right, so this was a south node area. This was the past life that was showing. Granted, I have other past lives linked to that type of um, subjugation, I guess to put it. You know, I was a man, a man and a woman in that scenario. So in this life, right, I come in with that South Node energy, that placement. And so working with it, right, and coming in with that, what areas of my soul contract relate to that? Okay, I'm the youngest of 5 children. So what with 3 older sisters, what was happening? I was always subjugating myself to them. If they said this is how it needed to be, I did that. I was always giving up my identity to make everybody else happy. I would conform and be submissive to others' demands. This even included abuse and sexual abuse. It's all kind of in that picture. My life plan brought me into situations in which I was being challenged in that. And it's in my astrology chart. No shit. In my astrology chart, showing that I chose these types of struggles and attributes to push me to either submerge further into that South Node mode, which would have created more. When I go back home, I'd be like, well, I didn't do so good one in it, and might need to try that again in a different way. Or this lifetime, as I'm hitting those trials and configurations, am I going to continue with that route, or am I going to begin to push through it and move to where the North Node was in Aries, which is making myself a priority, becoming an equal in my partnerships, not allowing my husband to subjugate me, or not allow my person to become submissive to his energy or submissive to his personality. So it was that, needing to become strong in self, and that Aries is the I am verb, to take root and actually become my truth. If that helps understand the North and South Node a little bit better. So here I had all these past lives going, and so this life was taking that energy and changing how I worked with it. I chose other astrological attributes as part of the personality that would work best to achieve breaking down my lock in that South Node to be able to become the North Node aspect. And when I did, my North Node is now the dominant in how I interact, and also how the planetary alignments in the current times influence my chart overall, because now I'm working not just from all the aspects, I'm also living in the North Node charge of it. I hope that makes sense. Awesome. I'm so glad that helped you, Deborah, to understand a little bit more. As she said, I really enjoyed this, renewed my interest in astrology. Awesome. And Vimy says, thank you. Interesting to know about the South and North nodes. How cool. Awesome. And the purpose of today's session has been a success. All right. Last call for any questions about what astrology has to do with it. And again, I'm going to say, if you've got people in your life who any other talk, spiritual talk, just kind of like as a bombshell, you start talking about astrology, you'll notice they kind of perk up a little bit. They're like, oh, yeah, well, my sun sign is this. Learn about the people you love. Learn about you. I love this format and this tool because, well, for one thing, I'm a knowledgeable. I like learning. I like learning new things. But wanting to understand your children, wanting to understand your parents, wanting to understand some of your friends, wanting to understand why you make some of the decisions that you do, wanting to understand how when a certain planetary aspect is going on, you are reacting the way you are. Or perhaps you're wanting to just understand what the fuck everybody else is talking about. Look into it. Astrology is an area that 95% of the population is open to conversation about, right? And in our current times, we need conversations that link us together and bring a common ground of discussion. So definitely look into it. Scope out the different people that are out there that do this as a profession. You will get insight about yourself that you never thought you could understand before. And hey, if it helps life be better, why not fucking try it, right? What's going to happen? It's not going to hurt. It's not going to be painful, but it might actually make you go, oh my God, I get it. I understand why I was making those choices. Okay? So I'm going to head off. Please leave comments, messages. I hope those who watch this later also receive a benefit from the information to understand why you would want to look into your astrological chart, why you want to go past just knowing what your sun sign is, and how you can actually get the clues on your soul contract without having to go to an Akashic reader or a medium or anybody else. And if you need help understanding your chart, please, please look for astrological readers that have a good grounding understanding and can help you understand you better. All right? If you have any other ideas for video sessions that you would like to have the topic brought into another format or be able to talk about it in another way, please feel free to reach out to this page or message me on this page, and I'd love to do something to help you be a better you. Bye.